Good afternoon to all of you. Uh, just opening remarks. Opening remarks is that 175 gigawatts is an exciting time for all of us. I mean, people who are in the technology field, in the financing field, in the implementation, all kinds of things. These are exciting because please imagine. I mean, when we got independence, India had about 1,600 megawatts. We have come up to 248 gigawatts to give 1 or 2 gigawatts here and there. That means we have gone up by 30 times in about 60, 80 years. And now we want to do it in just about 7 times, fourfold increase. So I think if at all there is 1 second renaissance or we are going to herald a new India, it should happen on this particular backbone of taking this challenge of making 175 gigawatts happen for the country in the renewable energy sector. So that's the good news. But the bad news is, and I shouldn't say that every good has to come with a bad, is there are certain distortions I'm saying. And I'm going to list in next 5 minutes about these 3 important things that we are not doing as a country. Number 1, I think we are equating energy equals power. And that's what we have been discussing during the lunchtime. I think we are making a monumental mistake. Sorry for using that word, very strong word, that energy is not equal to power. Therefore, you call renewable not power, renewable energy. Coal power, renewable energy. And energy means you would need transport energy, you need fuel, you need cooking energy, you need heating. I mean, if you look at my entire thing that I'm wearing, what this particular, whatever clothes and everything that I'm wearing, whatever, right from the industrial heat, the heating energy is almost 50%. If you take the pie of India's total energy consumption, which comes to about 485 million metric tons of oil equivalent, therefore I will not use only kilowatt hours, you'll find that 35% goes in heating, 16% in electricity, and then about 28% transport, another balance for the kitchen. So therefore, to equate energy equal to power, and therefore discuss everything, I'm okay with power. Power is one of the holy grail everybody would like to travel, is a distortion which we need to correct here and now. That's number 1. And then, unfortunately, there's one more distortion, that renewable power is in solar, and solar is equal to PV. That's another distortion. And that is something needs to be corrected. Please, I'm going to explain, and I'm not going to do it through any kind of in the next session. There's a huge amount of alternate forms where we can do. There is a polysilicon, but in the case of considered solar power, the entire value chain can be brought in this country. And hence, my dear friends, I would like to suggest that let us not use some kind of old paradigms of what we did in a thermal power, and you know what has happened in that. I mean, I was with NTPC, and I know when we were looking at some of the typical customization and Indian issues, which we did not implement, and therefore suffered a PLF and the boiler to fail, everything. And then we realized, oh, we did not do anything on the technology, and hence every development that happened was only in the know-how and not in know-why, and therefore this country is continuing to suffer, and that's what probably the colonial power wanted us to do it. I think we should defy this whole thing, and that's my plea to you. That's number 1. Number 2, as I said, that renewable energy is a plantation. It is not a power plant defined with a certain parameter. You are going to harness this energy. Harvest this energy. You are like going back to your agricultural thing, whether it's a solar farm or a wind farm. You don't call it a solar plant, you call it a solar farm. And hence, the entire methodology that you want to do will be different. That is number 2. I will not get into the details, because if I get into the depth of this every subject, it would consume all the time, and chairman will warn me now. Number 3, we talked about a distributed energy. I agree distributed energy is right, but that's not alone. What we need to do, and in fact, this is something which is very powerful, is a polygeneration. Because renewable energy offers you that. A renewable energy, as solar, biomass, wind, geothermal, and agricultural waste, can generate not only power, it can generate fuel, it can generate liquid, it can generate water, it can generate heating, it can generate cold energy. So in a microgrid level, if you want to do it, don't only wire the power, you wire the piping, because you generate fuel. You can generate the fuel which is required if you're using a biomass for the local kitchen applications. You can generate methane for your transport applications, you can generate hot water for agricultural applications, you can generate cold energy for your cold storage applications, you can generate even water if there is a brackish water available through a thermal process. And hence, if you connect with that and not only assume energy is equal to power and make it as a polygeneration distributed, then you will find the way to reach this 175 gigawatts will be very easy, because then you are not only equating power in kilowatt hours. You're going to equate all this energy requirement, and as I mentioned, we are only covering the 16% of the overall energy pie. The 84% will get addressed the moment you call this as a power. And renewable energy, the beauty of renewable energy, that it offers itself by hybridizing on the front end, different energy resources, and by using multiple output. That's the beauty of this polygeneration. At a scale of 1 to 5 megawatts required for a community can make that particular thing happen. And hence, my plea to all of you is that we need to examine this renewable energy from a different lens and a different framework, and don't extrapolate what we have done in our conventional energy to the renewable energy. I have stated 6 goals. I mean, if you want to reach 175 or even ramp it up further than that, there are 6 goals. Number 1, we should go and set up these large size power plants. If you want to scale it up, not only on PV, but you had to get this hybridized, concentrated solar power. That's what everybody is doing it. The tower structure, and if you get about 6 hours storage, thermal storage in a kind of a 6 hours or 8 hours solar, I can prove you that it will be superior, and that's the way it was. I mean, if you look at it, the earlier one, it was understood that the large-scale plants will happen from the realm of concentrated solar. So that's number 1. Number 2, it has got to be in the field of polygeneration. Number 3, existing thermal power plants. I'm very happy that NTPC is doing it. It was not mentioned about the Darby plant. They are integrating with solar thermal, the coal-based power plant. That's a very simple way of integrating your existing plants with thermal or biomass or geothermal. That's number 3. Number 4, all the industrial waste heat, industrial heat that is required should be provided, and they should be given a status as much as electricity. Please, because today India is suffering, though oil crude prices are coming down, our vulnerability for import of this thing will be high, and therefore we need to understand that we don't have those shell and hydrofracturing. We need to bring this particular thing. 5th, which Chairman said about the industrial waste heat and waste mass, I think this should be given a very high priority. I want in my next session at 5 o'clock a workshop, I'm going to be talking about this is the one thing which we should do. 60 gigawatts of power is just going into the environment, poof, because we don't have technology. And if we are able to do it, they surpass solar by many times. I mean, of course, I'm a votary of solar, but this kind of a waste to energy will be very important piece in our renewable energy, and we need to declare it. And last one is the the storage technologies. Number of storage technologies, as I mentioned, thermal storage, hydro storage, batteries, hydrogen itself using a fuel cell and electrolyzers are some of these things which we need to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.